call this meeting of the Westland City Council to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, led by Councilman James Godbout.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Councilman Godbout. Councilwoman Green. Present. Councilman Hersberg. Here. Pro Tem Londo. Here. Councilman McDermott. Here. Councilwoman Rakowski. President Hart.
Here.
A quorum is present.
Now to move to questions or input on the agenda from the public. This section will allow a person to be recognized only at the beginning of the meeting to address the council pertaining to items that are specifically on the business agenda at the meeting. Questions asked will be answered during the agenda item following a motion and support from the council. Is there anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Anyone in the back? Sir?
Hello, I'm Pastor Edward Pruitt, and I'm a resident of Westland, standing to protect the interest of the community. Today, I will be speaking on consent calendar items L, M, and N. In essence, these items coupled together are emergency amendments to the last year's budget, a budget that was expected to be balanced upon it being proposed. To have a nearly $62 million net increase, which is nearly double the supposed balanced budget last year, demonstrates that this current administration is incapable of working within the budgets they proposed. This current administration is not new to pulling the wool over the community's eyes, because they did it last year and they did it the year before, where departments needed an additional $1.4 million to run their departments. This demonstrates that this government is bad at fiscal responsibility. In other words, the government says one thing to deceive the community because their whole intent is to do something different. Even when the current proposed budget, this one for this year going into next year, which is touted as a $70 million balanced budget, it is a budget that is already expected to have amendments. How much will this cost the community? And the current mayoral administration isn't the only department of this government that is complicit. The city council is as well. For this current budget amendment, for this current fiscal year ending in June 30, 2021, this nearly $62 million net addition brings the total cost to run the Westland government to $135 million, if not more, for July 1, 2020 to June 30, 2021. To have it on the consent calendar where there is no discussion and where it can just be slid through demonstrates an intentional effort to deceive the community because it clearly lacks transparency. It makes having public meetings on proposed budget even more useless when they can just be pushed in later. It also removes accountability for failing to be a responsible mayor. Not only do these items need to be placed on the new business items section for discussion, these items need public hearings that intentionally seek out community involvement. We cannot continue to go down this road and skirt the necessity of transparency, accountability, and open government. Anything less than these actions demonstrates complicity in this cover-up. Don't do what you did last year. Use your powers to investigate and actually investigate, or be categorized as against the interest of the people. In addition, the community is tired of this government attempting to pull the wool over their eyes. The community is tired of their intelligence being insulted by explanations that don't meet reality. It is time that this government gets the courage to do right by the people or get out of office.
Thank you, sir. That's your time.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone on my left? Anyone in the back? Yes, sir.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Byer. Today, I would like to talk about line items L through N on the consent calendar. It appears that we are amending last year's budget as it states in line item M for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021. This presents a fallacy given by the current administration that every year is a balanced budget. Well, every year could be a balanced budget if we keep adding amendments. On top of that, it presents a transparency issue from my perspective, as it does not state anywhere in the line item the total amount to be amended. One could see this if they were to go online and download the entire agenda as it appears on page 61 of 114. On this page, it shows that the total expenditure increase was $61,826,464.92. Yet it does not present this dollar figure anywhere that is easily viewable by our residents. An example of this would be on the packet that's giving right here and over when you walk in. I have a lot to say about this enormous increase since approximately $59 million went to the general government, but without more information that is easily accessible to our local residents, I'll leave it at that. Although I want you all to know that this is unacceptable, as a lack of transparency with our local spending is lacking, to say the least. With that, I say that if you approve this, you are all not doing the due diligence that your constituents expect from elected officials and are not upholding transparency, which is required for average citizens to audit the budget. Thank you, and I hope you all have a great evening.
Thank you. Right. Anybody on my right? Sir.
Okay, under this, I think it's important not only for us to talk about it, but I think it's really important for young people in all communities to understand our city budget. You know, there are pretty good young people or students that are good at math. I would encourage young people to review these issues so they can learn about our local government. I've done a lot of business in my life since '98, and I think that this is where we have to change some things, and we really have to let the young community come in and look at these issues. So as Daniel just spoke up, that just came on my heart, so I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone on my left? Anyone else out back? All right, we'll close citizen comment on the agenda, move to the consent calendar. Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Londo.
Support.
Supported by Councilman Godbout. We had some questions on L, M, and N. I'll turn those over to Dan Block and Steve Smith.
Through the chair, so with regards to agenda items L, M, and N, the budget amendments, these are typically brought to council this time of year. This is our year-end reconciliation of budget amendment. So the biggest part of this budget amendment, as council's aware, is for the pension bonding. So last year when we put the pension bonding in, we were uncertain of the numbers, and we let council know that amendment would be required once everything was finalized. So as council is aware, the pension bonds were sold at the end of February this year. So this is the first amendment since then that we've had. So budget amendments are necessary in the budget. We do them 3 times a year, each quarter, first quarter, second quarter, and then the end of the year reconciliation. Not only are they necessary, they're actually required by the state of Michigan to amend your budget. So this one's a rather big one, and like I said, a majority of it has to do with the pension bonding. There are some other adjustments that reflect the actual revenues and expenditures that we've had up till May 31st. So, and the reason why we wait till the June meeting to do it is so we could have the best and the latest information available to us. So those are all part of the budget amendments, and like I said, they are necessary and required by the state of Michigan. So,
Thank you, Steve. Just for clarification, that large $63 million revenue increase, that was from the sale of the bond, correct? That was revenues from the bond sale, correct?
Yes, that is the revenue coming in from the sale of the bonds, yes.
Thank you. All right, are there any, instead of discussion, since this is the consent calendar, we're going to change it. Are there any changes to the consent calendar from the council? Any changes? Roll call.
Councilman Godbout.
Yes.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Councilman Pro Tem Londo.
Yes.
Councilman McDermott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Council has approved the following consent calendar items. Approval of minutes of the regular meeting held June 7, 2021. Approval of minutes of the study session held June 7, 2021. Request from Lutheran High School 33300 Cowan Road to conduct their annual homecoming parade Friday, October 1, 2021 at 5:30 p.m., starting at the back of the high school, proceeding south on Farmington, west onto Cowan, then turning right into the high school parking lot, and also to request police assistance to block traffic during the parade. Request from VFW Post 3323, 1055 South Wayne Road, for a special one-day liquor license to serve alcohol at two events on July 10 and August 21, 2021, to be held at their post from 5 p.m. until midnight to raise funds to assist veterans and assist the community. Approval of purchase of 20 Lenovo tablets from CDWG in the amount not to exceed $11,371.40. Approval of contract extension with Three Cities Art Club to display art at City Hall, to rotate the display, and to release the city from any liability. Approval of the City Hall security guard contract with NAIAS Security LLC for a one-year period commencing immediately, ending on June 30, 2022, in the amount of $50,000. Approval of agreement between the City of Westland and the Municipal Service Bureau for Westland Ice Arena Management Services for a one-year period commencing July 1, 2021, ending June 30, 2022, in the amount of $142,000. Approval of agreement between the City of Westland and the Municipal Service Bureau for golf course management services for a one-year period commencing July 1, 2021, ending June 30, 2022, in the amount of $115,500. Approval of agreement between the City of Westland and the Municipal Service Bureau for crossing guard management services for a one-year period commencing July 1, 2021, ending June 30, 2022, in the amount of $80,000. Approval of agreement between the City of Westland and the Municipal Service Bureau for park rangers for a one-year period commencing July 1, 2021, ending June 30, 2022, in the amount of $66,000. Introduction of budget amendments through May 30, 2021 for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2021. Waive procedure, declaring an emergency due to time constraints to allow the introduction and adoption of budget amendments through May 30, 2021 for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2021. Adoption of budget amendments through May 30, 2021 for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2021. Introduction of ordinance 248A-109, an ordinance to rescind the temporary moratorium on applications for land use approval, permits, or licenses to establish new automobile gas stations. Adoption of ordinance 248A-108, an ordinance to amend ordinance 248 to show GAR district classification where CB1 district classification is now shown in the City of Westland, Wayne County, described as parcel number 00701-0599-307, north side of Warren, west of Merriman. The last item approved on the consent calendar today Approval of the extension of the 2021 summer tax payments until Tuesday, August 31, 2021. Moving to new business. Request City Council enter closed study session immediately in accordance with Michigan Open Meetings Act, Section 15.268, Section 8E, to consult with the city attorney regarding a settlement strategy concerning litigation, worker compensation case of Mark Sisk versus City of Westland.
Motion by Councilman Godbout. Supported by Councilman Hersberg. Roll call.
Councilman Godbout.
Yes.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo.
Yes.
Councilman McDermott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Motion is adopted unanimously. You are in recess. New business, item 2. We'd like a motion to return to the open meeting.
Make a motion to return to the open meeting.
Motion by return to the meeting from Councilman Londo, supported by Councilman Hersberg. Is that right?
Yeah.
Roll call.
Councilman Godbout.
Yes.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg.
Yes.
Pro Tem Londo.
Yes.
Councilman McDermott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
Yes.
President Hart.
Yes.
Unanimous vote is cast. We're back in open meeting at 7:20 PM. New business, item 3. Approval of the city attorney's recommendation in Sisk versus City of Westland.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Hersberg. Support from Councilwoman Rakowski. Is there discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
New business, item 4. Approval of special land use for proposed child daycare center, 35551 Ford Road, south side of Ford, between Parent and Wayne Road. This is Planning Department number 1481B. Planning Commission recommends approval with the condition that the play area is relocated just south of the building.
Motion by Councilman Godbout. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Councilman Hersberg. Mo?
Thank you, Council President. The property on your screen, highlighted in yellow, is the subject property. It's located at the southeast corner of Ford Road and Parent Street. It comprises of about 26,000 square feet, zone CB1, and is the location of a vacant office building. I believe it was a law office, vacant for about a couple years now. The petitioner today, named Joanna, she's in the audience, proposes to relocate her child daycare center to the existing building. Today, the daycare center named Little Treasures Daycare is currently located in the city of Wayne at 4915 South Wayne. The building on your screen is about 5,000 square feet, and the daycare operation will utilize about 2,200 square feet of that. The remaining square footage will be used for office space and common areas for the daycare operation. The building does include a kitchen, which will be used for food preparation and service, servicing the daycare operation. There is a 1,800 square foot play area proposed just south of the building. That is a modification from the site plan that the Planning Commission reviewed and requested that change. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. The hours of operation will be Monday through Friday from 4:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. I think they're going to be shorter to start, but just to be safe, that's what they're proposed at today. The center will initially open with 45 students in 4 different rooms based off the various age ranges. And will employ 13 teachers to start. Just some quick details about the site plan and the site as it's arranged today. It's accessed by a full-service driveway off of Ford Road here. One previously existed off of Parent Street, but the city council at least a decade ago, requested that it be sealed off, which it is today, and that will not be opened back up today. The zoning ordinance requires 21 off-street parking spaces, 27 are proposed. There's two drop-off areas being proposed in this area as well. Site screening and landscaping for both the roadways and the residential neighborhood to the south are in compliance with the zoning ordinance. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on this June 2nd and is recommending approval to you with that change that you saw. This is the play area here, just south of the building. This is the residence in the back, so it's flipped from what you were looking at. The play area previously was proposed in this area, but the Planning Commission agreed that it would be better located here, and the applicant, business owner, revised her plans to show that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel. The petitioner in the audience today? Is there anything you'd like to add?
Hello, I'm Joanna Patillo Edwards, and no, I don't have really anything else to add.
Okay, well, we're going to ask the council a couple questions. Is there any discussion from the council? Councilman McDermott, I think your mic is on.
Well, good evening. First off, just want to thank you for your investment with your business moving into the city of Westland. Have you, historically speaking, made accommodations for differently abled or disabled children to be able to go to your daycare facility?
Yes, I am currently an educator, teacher, school counselor, and school principal. I have a degree in special education as well, so I care for all children newborn to age 12.
Wonderful, thank you. Nothing further. Appreciate that.
Next, we have Councilman Godbout.
Thanks. And thank you for moving your business into the city of Westland. I just wanted to take a second here to recognize the job of the Planning Commission and what they've done and did during the meeting to make some changes. I think the changes that they recommended were for the better, and it's nice to get it before us without us having to make those changes. So just kudos to the Planning Commission for their work and involvement in this, and thank you for agreeing to those changes as well.
No, thank you, guys.
All right, is there any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing no dissent, motion carries unanimously. Good luck.
Thank you.
New business. Item 5, approval of voucher.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Londo. Supported by Councilman McDermott. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing no dissent, motion carries unanimously. We will now move into citizens' comments. Everyone speaking before the council should do so in a civil manner. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, vulgar language, disruptive outbursts, threats, racial slurs, or other conduct that interferes with the orderly business meeting. Personal attacks on council members, the administration, city staff, other speakers, or even members of the public will not be tolerated. The clock will start upon the first words of the speaker and will not stop while the speaker is recognized from the floor. It is the speaker's option to ask questions at this time, and the person questioned may choose to respond during the speaker's allotment of time. However, again, the clock will not be stopped once it is started. Is there anyone on my right? Sir.
Good evening, and so great to be back in person. Council, actually not Mayor Wild, but Deputy Mayor Reddy tonight. Richard Graham from Westland and with Move Westland Forward. Regarding the last council meeting, shameful to see Council President Hart deny a speaker extra time based on a disability. Where is the compassion from the all-American city? Also regarding the last council meeting and specifically the budget, Councilman Herzberg should be thanked for figuring out a way after 5 years to add just one police officer and stop the blockade of this from Team Wild. Interesting to see Councilman Landau, Godbout, and even Mayor Wild frankly throw a temper tantrum and display poor character. Councilwoman Green should also be thanked for quickly jumping in to support the councilman and our police officers. I was going to say Mayor Wild, but a grant is never a way to add public safety. It is frankly fake money from the federal government, and at the end of the day, the department has lost many good employees that were on those grants because those are not guaranteed jobs. Just like in a couple years, we'll lose up to 13 firefighters. It's kind of fake money. Also, there was plenty of money in the budget. Team Wild, you should know, plenty of money in the budget for one police officer. Councilman Landau, 2 council meetings ago, you went on a tirade about the rules, procedures, ordinances are not followed, and why not just tear those up? Interesting, we have not heard you say anything about our sign ordinance, when most Team Wild members running for council and mayor have disobeyed it. Even the head of Team Wild has his sign up as a clear violation with residents reporting it. So why not just rip up the ordinances pertaining to signs? Through the chair, well, there's going to be to Mayor Wild, but he's not here. Last week, the League of Women Voters held a mayoral debate or discussion. It was odd that the mayor stated that the city attorney is not appointed by the mayor, but in fact, the city charter states that the mayor does this. After 20 years as an elected official, you would think he would know that this person that sits right next to him for so many years was appointed by him. Also heard that he arrived late, 10 minutes, when all the other participants were already there. And I guess that is it, since he's not here. Thank you very much. Great to be in person again. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody on my left? Anybody out back? Sir.
Good evening, guys. Council. I had some questions. First one is to President Hart. On February 12th, 2020, last year, I saw you in courtroom, McConnell's room. When I saw you and I said, "Hello, Councilman Hart," you said, "Oh, shoot," when you're walking in towards the courtroom. I was curious, why were you there for? I have, of course, tried to FOIA the court, Administrator Gibbs. I asked him to get the docket with your name on it. He said he would not give me the docket with your name on it. There's a bigger concern. If anyone looks at the docket, I know many people have, or online, for your name, nothing will come up. But there is a Jimmy Clifford Hart with a different address and a different birth date. That there's someone in the city with the exact, well, with the same first and last name as you, it's not you? That's what I thought. Councilman Pro Tem Londo, have you ever had any conversations with a former Falson attorney who is now a current judge in Wayne regarding my mayor candidacy? Okay, well, I do have a video, I do have the audio of her admitting it was your post that put my MDOC stuff on there regarding her false police report she made. Now, since she's a judge, that's judicial interference, which is against the law. Of course, her husband is a police officer for Westland. You know this. Okay. So that's my main concerns. My last concern was I had tenants call me and I saw this letter that was sent to them regarding lead in the water. Now, it scared them all. The Norway district's where my rentals are, built in the 40s, early mid-40s. It said to put a magnet on the water meter along the pipe. The pipes are usually galvanized steel or copper, which are obviously going to react to magnets. So you scared all my tenants with this letter. I don't see a point of the letter. Obviously copper is magnetic. Obviously galvanized steel is magnetic. Why did you guys send it? To scare the tenants? To scare everybody, I guess, in the area. Can you guys answer who made that letter up? It said it was sent from Mayor Wild. No one? Have a great night, guys.
You all set?
Yeah, you're good.
I was named, so I'm going to respond. February 12th, 2020, if that's the date, sure. I was in that courtroom. I was in that courtroom as an observer. I'm in that courtroom because I have to see how that court was operating. And I also had another opportunity to see Mr. Asper there, who was in court for a hit and run and malicious damage accident. and claim against Judge McConnell was seeing. My time. I was there.
But now you're bad-mouthing me. You're saying.
Mr. Asper, I'm responding to your
But your
question.
attitudes
You
aren't
used
true.
my name.
Your attitudes aren't true, though.
Mr. Asper, you're
I'm
being
slandering
disruptive
my
now.
name.
Mr. Apter?
You're defaming my
Asper?
character. All right.
Disruption number 2. I was in that courtroom to visit and to see why Mr. Asper was in there, because someone had brought it up to me. They were very concerned. So it was a two birds with one stone. There's a reason my name wasn't on that, because I wasn't in trouble for anything. I was there observing the courtroom. To make the accusation that our police department and our court would obfuscate and change legal documents to hide any crime that I was not seen for that day and on a docket, and have hundreds of people complicit in it is laughable and obscene. So there's a reason. So these claims that I committed some sort of crime and staged some very high-level way to obscure all of that is erroneous and false. So there, that's my response. Anybody else care to respond? No. Okay. Anybody on the right? Ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, Mr. Perry raised his hand first. I do apologize. You all right with it? Okay. Okay. Very good.
So as we have ordinances in the city, the ordinance are not just for people, they're for both with disabilities and not disabilities. So it's important that they're educated and they know, especially when it comes to serious things. I believe people who take psychotropic medication should not do marijuana because it causes many issues. Besides the fact, many people with disabilities should understand the ordinance. With that, it should also be explained what happens when somebody takes psychotropic drugs and then smokes marijuana. This issue is not only in our city, it's in other cities, it's worse. Many direct care professionals are supposed to be helping them with their goals, but they're under substance. And this is not just in this city, it's in other cities. Dealing with the lead guardianship organization, and how are we going to treat people the same way if they're violating the ordinance? Their staff are helping them understand it. So what is the point of us doing anything inclusion with everybody? Like, let's educate people with disabilities on how not to break the ordinance, or even how to do things quarterly. Like this stuff that I've been advocating for and dealing with the last couple of days, like I'll go at it. I had to deal with a right situation because I was on the phone and I told my staff, hey, I'm on the phone, can I respect like anybody else? Yada, 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 everybody knows me, complaint was made, but the point is, we really do need to make sure that the group homes and Detroit Wayne and Medicare Network are all on the same page, because at the end of the day, we have a mental health, we have a disability ordinance, and I believe that that should be respected by providers, direct care workers, even Detroit Wayne and Medicare Network as they service people within the city. I think that these are coming up issues. These are things that I have talked about. These are things that I've said. These are some issues that the District Concern Board should work on. I've been saying this for years. So now we, have a new thing. People with displays marijuana walking around the neighborhoods. So this is why I said that when I spoke at the marijuana review, whatever. It was in that room, I forgot the name of it, but I'm just saying, we really have to, remember, I said this, just remember, I said this. Thank you, Council
Right.
President.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone on my left? Anyone in the back? Yes.
Hi, my name's Crystal Fulton. My husband Carlos and I have two sons that recently completed kindergarten and fourth grade. This last year has been super challenging to all of us on different levels. We still have work to do for the fall. After 16 months of forceful mandates on children, parents, and professionals are calling on the governor, MDHHS, and all other state agencies to cease mandates on school-aged children in the preschool to 12 setting. All public pre-K to 12 institutions, including state colleges, must allow for choice for all students in regards to masking, testing, vaccination, or any other mitigation strategies that have been previously thrust upon children across the state of Michigan. No one should force or require masks, COVID testings, or COVID vaccines to any child, nor should there be any segregation to any child or teacher for that matter, based on their own ability to choose what's best for them. No child should be treated differently based on their vaccination status, mask use, or testing. Therefore, consider this a proclamation that parents, not politicians, will ensure the safety and health of our children as we enter the next school year. We seek our elected officials to represent the voices of their communities in stopping the proposed Michigan Safer Schools Future of Testing, as presented by Danielle Lepar, Hannah Hamilton, Jason Wilkinson, and Natasha Begdarzian of MDHHS. We call on Governor Whitmer and Director Hertel to allow parents' rights to be respected and the rights of our children not to be violated. We are imploring all agencies to stop any further mandates and to allocate resources and funding to support the much-needed mental health of our children. Irreparable harm has been committed, and as parents, we are determined to protect our children at all costs. There have been no studies done on how this will affect the development of small, undeveloped lungs and brains due to the lack of oxygen and breathing CO2. These decisions impact us by leaving us without a choice. Parental choice has been an area that the lines have been crossed over. Talking about medical issues such as the vaccine to our children has infringed on our own parental rights to educate and make decisions based on our own children's medical history, choices, and well-being. We are compromising a generation of children on the risk of an unauthorized experiment, clinical test, and trial. The health department does not have the authority over our children. Stop promoting a vaccine that has yet to be approved by the FDA, which has no long-term study on the effect that will have on people and especially our young children. Some of the issues coming out are heart issues and sterilization. Do not force your ideas onto us and take away our choice as parents. Then expect us to submit to your ways or be penalized if we don't. Our choices need to be honored and respected as well. When this district...
Thank you. Your time's up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone in the back? Yes.
I hope I have a good enough voice. Sorry, I lost it earlier. I'm going to go with beyond what she said. As the government reviews several hundred reports of heart inflammation in young people following COVID vaccinations, high-profile medical and legal scholars are requesting schools to scrap their COVID vaccine incentives, calling them unnecessary and potentially harmful. Younger adults and children have extremely low risk of mortality from COVID. Epidemiologist Martin Koldoff from Harvard Medical School and Jay Bechuana from Stanford wrote, even a slight risk of serious vaccine adverse reaction could tip the benefit-risk calculation. Benefit versus risk of the mRNA vaccines are for adolescents and young adults are on the agenda for this week's meeting with the CDC and the Prevention Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices. They are also going to tackle the reports of the myocarditis developing after vaccination starting tomorrow. Even the American Medical Association pushed back on the COVID vaccination mandates for the time being. In the press release, a group urged institutions, including the schools, to reject pushing the vaccine until the vaccines receive full approval from the FDA through the biological licensing application. Myocarditis has been flagged as a potential result of the COVID vaccination since February, but has only gotten mainstream media attention on June 10th by the CDC. Although they accounted for only 9% of the administered vaccines, 12 to 24-year-olds represented more than half of the myocarditis reports through May 31st. There's nearly 3 times that high end of the expected report rate. They cited that the increased risk of heart inflammation for adolescents and young adults and the huge number of children who have natural immunity from previous infections. The professors scoffed at the justifications that rely on making the community feel safe and enough to reopen is just a psychological placebo to those who don't care enough to consider basic scientific facts. It is a mess generated by administrators such as yourselves, whose unfounded fears of liability and desires for virtual signaling have put them on a collision course with science in the detriment of our children and the rest of us. If data on the alternative treatments, such as ivermectin, had been available, the EUA would not have been allowed. Pushing the vaccine harms public health because the vaccines don't clearly benefit young people, and rare but serious adverse reactions could emerge in the next few years. Since the risk of the severe outcome from COVID is so low for young, almost any chance of a serious adverse event from the vaccine mitigates against taking the vaccine. Unvaccinated students, he says, have little to no additional risk. For younger people with the very low risk of COVID mortality, we do not yet know whether the benefits outweigh the risks. Under such circumstances, it is unethical for anyone to push the or incentivize against the
All right,
vaccine.
Your time's up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody on my right? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sterniak, and I'm here to address an item that has been very, very extraneously conflicting from the last election with the Dominion machines. And I know that you already went on the wrong path ordering these machines. I know you spent money from the taxpayers to buy these machines, but still we have time to correct this mistake. Just don't use them, okay? That's all you have to do. Put on the corner and just do a fair election. And I'm not saying this as a Republican, a Democrat, it doesn't matter. Let's just count the proper votes that the public vote for. Thank you.
Anybody on my left? Yes.
Hi, my name is Sarah Austin, and I'm a Westland resident. It's great to see council in person again, and it's great to see so many of my fellow Westland residents out. I think we can all agree it's been a rough 15 months. It's great to see businesses coming back to Westland, and I want to remind all of us that we should be continuing to support our Westland businesses as we come out of this darkness. And also, I think we can all agree that one of the hidden benefits of the past 15 months was working with our neighbors. We saw neighbors delivering food to each other, we saw neighbors checking out for each other, and we saw neighbors taking care of each other. Just because the regulations have gone away and we're moving back to normal, I suggest that we all continue to reach out to our neighbors, because that was the hidden lining of the past 15 months. Respect your neighbor, as we're all not coming out of this from the same place, but remember that our neighborhoods kept us together, and our neighbors should continue to be strong even once we get through the pandemic. Thank you.
All right. I already got a hand raised up in the back, so, sir, come on up. Ma'am, sorry, can't see.
Hi, everyone. Jody White, former Westland resident, former state rep candidate in 2018. When I came here in 2018 to run, elder abuse was a huge, huge topic. And in Lansing, we had a rally to save our seniors. There is an epidemic with attorneys that are coming into our probate courts and harming our seniors and stealing our assets. So I was, after that event, we were reached out to have some Westland citizens. They wanted to have the knowledge here. So we were able to do it here at the Westland City Hall, just a small rally. And I wanted to just thank Tasha Green had come out and Peter Hertzberg. And I just want to continue with the battle, you know, winner or not. You still have that campaign platform that you care about. I care about our assets. I care about our seniors. I care about our courts. And, you know, we're in we're in trouble. So I appreciate you allowing me to come up. We did give a resolution to Peter and Tasha regarding, we want access to our seniors in our senior centers and in our senior nursing homes. And we have ordinance officers, that they come to landlords and they inspect there. We just would like to sit down someday, maybe with the politicians, and have a chat with that, because the resolution is really important to make sure that we are allowed to have physical touch with our elderly. And, even though COVID's restrictions are being removed, some of the people like the policies of the people not hanging out in their buildings. And I don't like it, and a lot of them have security guards. Some of them don't cost us $50,000 like they do here, but we the people, this is our community, our nursing homes, our city government, and we would like to just make sure that we are not being bullied, threatened, or harassed for caring and having a point of view. So again, Peter and Tasha, as usual, thank you for being a part. It's called Save Our Seniors Michigan. We are going to be going to other council and asking the same respect, that we can get the ordinance officers and policemen to help us with these wellness checks, help us with our police reports. There's a family that they still haven't been able to touch their mom, and it was back when Richard LeBlanc and I were both running for city clerk. It's 2014. This family is still not able to hug their mom, and it's just wrong. And she's a vet, and she is from Westland on McKenzie Street. So it'll be on YouTube. We'll do a commercial, but Save Our Seniors Michigan, and whatever we can do to work as a community would be great. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Council President,
Oh, sure.
I was named.
You go ahead. I will move back to the audio. There you go.
Yeah, Ms. White, regarding the resolution you mentioned, if you could get that to us in electronic form. There was one error on it, and that was a date. So I don't think you'd want us to rewrite the whole thing. If you could send it to us electronically, and then we could forward that to the rest of the council. Thank you.
Good. Good. All right, where was I at? All right, in the back. Anybody on the right? Right.
Just want to say hi to everybody. It seems like it's not such a long night like it was 2 weeks ago. Wow. Anyway, it's a lot better tonight. It's good always to hear people's comments and stuff like that. And I am a little concerned about that epidemic too, because, right away we're taking our masks off and everything else. And we got to still, I think, be real careful. And we don't know who's been vaccinated. We don't know. And I think the social distancing, in my opinion, should be good, because it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. People are still going to do virtual. People are still working at home in their offices. Things are coming back slowly. So anyway, the next topic is I met the two K9s at Westland at the farm market. Had the great time. K9 Rio and K9 Odie. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So I really enjoyed it. And this coming Wednesday, I'm planning on going to that event too, movie night. And I also heard Steve talk about this 2 weeks ago, about this ADA. I'm going to like to have that checked out too, because I think it's important. Because we do get people from different disabilities that might have a speech impairment. It might take them a little time to get on this microphone. So I'm going to check into that too. So anyway, I'm going to keep working at it, and also the ambassadors are getting back on the road again. Mental health. Mental health, I'm taking it back to the road. And matter of fact, I'm going to be scheduling stuff when things are getting better, July and August. So have a good night.
Thank you. All right, anybody on my left? Sir.
Good evening. I'm Arthur Warren, President of the Southeast Westland Homeowners Association. Over the past period, I received a communication with a campaign literature from Ms. Tasha Green stating that she had procured $80,000 in park enhancements in Stoudemire Park. Actually, that's not true. Most of the donations of these which we received for Stoudemire Park came from county commissioners, and each time they donated money, they came right to this podium and said that they were forwarding monies. And they started forwarding monies in 2017. The largest amount of money that we received was on April 15th. And we received a combination of $150,000, which was split between the North Wayne community and the Southeast District, which was $39,415 was spent on a gazebo and $50,000 spent on a playscape. But this money was dedicated from Robert Kozlowski to the Michigan Economic Development Corporation and was put into the Michigan's budget. And note that on the April 15th, when we came to council, when it came on the council's agenda to be approved, Councilwoman Green put a motion on the floor to deny that this gazebo and this playscape be built in the Southeast District. So I just want to say that in regards to this piece of literature here, if you donated $80,000 to those parks, when did you do it? Where did you get it from? And what projects are in that park? Because they're not there. Thank you.
Did you have? Okay. Let me, give me 1 second. There we go. Mic's on. Is it working? There we go.
It's working. Thank you. I'd just like to remind the community of the character of this person before I clarify the lies that he has come to the council meeting with tonight per usual. This is the gentleman who authored the front page letter on the Eagle newspaper calling 2 elected officials in the city of Westland racist, accused one of being everything short of a child predator because he supported Mayor Wild the last election cycle. He played the race card to harm the reputation of someone who he did not support. And then 6 months after that person lost his bid for office, he turned around as the Westland Democratic Club president and endorsed this person for office through the Westland Democratic Club president, the same person who he accused of being not only a racist, but affiliated with Ku Klux Klan and neo-Nazis. This is the type of the lengths of untruths that he will go to go after people who are the mayor that Mayor Wild does not support. It's no secret that I'm challenging Mayor Wild in office right now. I'm running for mayor. So here we go again with this person. And this is that example that I've given you all of his character and the lies that he has told in our city is just one of multiple examples of poor leadership. The mayor put him over the diversity commission that I created for our city, and it hadn't even been installed 6 months. We already had 3 people resign under his leadership. Anyhow, speaking specifically to his lie, I was, as a member of the Southeast Homeowners Association, I was asked by then President Clarence Love, one of the other board members, Elaine Williams, Esther Everett, to take over the request to have resources invested into Stoudemire Park due to the fact that the city of Westland had made no financial contributions in Stoudemire Park for nearly 20 years. Stoudemire Park is on the south side of the city, and if you talk to many residents on the south side, there is a consensus that resources don't reach our area of the community. And so the president, vice president, area manager, and another executive asked me to take that mission over. Now, I would challenge Mayor Wild to confirm the lies that Arthur Warren stated tonight, because I met with Mayor Wild, with the president, Esther Everett, and several others to procure that funding. And during the meeting, it was stated that then State Representative Robert Kozlowski would get $80,000, and that took a fight.
That's your 3-minute rebuttal time.
Please, this is nothing more than an attack from a dishonest person.
That's your time.
And I'll finish my comments during my closing statements. Thank you.
Okay. All right, where were we? We were left. Anybody in the back? Yes.
Hi, everyone. All right, I wanted to make it very short and simple. I did have a chance to watch the YouTube video on the last council meeting, and obviously, you guys all know me, I am a Christian, and therefore there are certain issues that was shared at that meeting that hit really hard. But what I wanted to say in short and clear is that, our country is very divided, and we know that, right? And there is that adage is that united we stand, divided we fall. And I feel like as a body of government, that at this time, so crucially, that you guys should stay neutral. And some of these issues, whether it's flying the rainbow flag or the BLM flag, and personally, I don't want Korean flag flying in front of a government building either, or the Russian, or the Chinese, or anything. But I do know that under one flag, we are united. And we can all say that we are Americans. And I don't want to see my city taking out a divisive role. And for sure, when I watched that video, you had at least 50% of the people that came and supported, the initiative to call June the Pride Month, and now the Rainbow Flag, 50-50. And I think that's pretty accurate, because I think that's what's going on in our country, right? And so what I'm saying is that at this crucial period, we should have our government be neutral. Don't pick up these things that's going to incite, and bring on more division. And we certainly don't want, as a Westland resident and as a city, want to portray that. Because for sure, if those people represent, valid numbers, then you guys will have offended 50% of your residents. Do you want that? Or why you made 50% of the residents happy, right? We don't want that. We need to do everything within our powers as residents and as government officials to keep us united. And you know what? We are Americans. I want American flag flying in all the government places. I don't want BLM. I don't, do you know what I'm saying? So anyway, God bless you guys. And remember, righteousness, God says righteousness exalts a nation. And he promises that if we honor him, he will honor us. And we can always speak about things that we disagree in moral scheme, in love. And I think we can always do that. So good seeing all of you guys, and thank you for letting me speak before you. God bless you guys, and God bless America and Westland. Thank you.
Anybody on my right? Sir.
This is through the chair to President Hart. Are you an ADA coordinator?
No.
Through the chair to the city attorney, are you an ADA coordinator? No. Thank you very much. Now, you limit my speech to 3 minutes. I asked for accommodation, and you denied it. But you're not an ADA coordinator. Either is an attorney. And you said to me in the hallway, the attorney okayed the language that you used. But you're not an ADA coordinator. How can you determine a reasonable accommodation or a non-reasonable accommodation? What's your experience in the ADA? What's your experience, sir? What's your experience?
My experience is just what anybody else would have. I did some research. I talked to my attorney, and I talked to my HR or generalist, and I try to do the right thing, sir.
You're not doing the right thing. You're violating my rights under the ADA, and your attorney gave you bad advice. Now, when it says right in the city, says, contact Stephanie Wright, or Fields, Personnel Director, is the ADA Coordinator. I emailed her about my accommodation. She kicked it to you. Why? You don't have experience providing accommodations, and you just admitted it. But you told me my accommodation was not reasonable. You don't have the qualifications to do it. So you're violating my rights. You're not going to silence my voice. The mayor, he doesn't have a 3-minute time limit. He's a resident of Westland. That's what you said, that I will be treated like any other resident in Westland. The mayor's, he gets more than 3 minutes. The city attorney gets more than 3 minutes. You guys get more than 3 minutes during your closing. You gave Tasha Green more than 3 minutes. And did you turn on the clock when you were responding? I didn't see the clock go on, but when Tasha was talking, you put the clock on. And what you were asking me to do, in your email, I hope you shared it with all your colleagues up on the city council, is a disgrace. You're trying to single me out and embarrass me by that response. And that city attorney said that language was okay? It's shameful.
Your
He
time's
should
up,
be
sir.
fired.
Thank you.
He should be fired, and you should step down.
Sir, thank
because
you.
you don't know the ADA.
Thank you, sir. I'll respond to those during my comments. Is there anybody on my left? Is anyone out back? Anyone on the right? Sir.
Tony Parton, Precinct Delegate, Westland 30, and I'm with Let's Mobilize of Harvest Bible Church. Going to be an interesting speech here. What I had prepared was pretty interesting, but I guess I do want to say, hopefully the recording is on. First time in history, I'll defend Arthur Warren, maybe the only, but the man should not have been attacked and dressed down the way he was. I mean, you've got a statement that you read before we get up here to say that we're not allowed to attack you, and then you let her attack him. I mean, that should go both ways with citizens. It's kind of funny what I was going to talk about. I'd like to ask the council to abolish the DEI board. I challenge that Westland doesn't have a problem with racism, and it certainly doesn't have a human health crisis. This is critical race theory that has crept its way into our city. There's a story of 100 ants put into a jar, 50 red, 50 black, and they live in harmony. But if you agitate the jar and pour them out, they will attack and kill each other. We must stop the agitation. Unfortunately, two of the people running for mayor are those agitators, along with our congresswoman, racist Marxist groups such as BLM and Antifa. I say that we don't listen to these people and these groups, and we live in harmony. And I do ask that you would put our city flag back up.
Thank you. Is there anybody on my left? Let's do this. Anybody else in the audience? Sir.
Thank you, City Council. Kevin Coleman, State Representative for Westland and Wayne. Just want to come up and say I appreciate the work that you're doing. It's always interesting to come to City Council and hear from the different members of the community, the different opinions, the different ideas. I was at the last City Council meeting for about the first hour to address you as a state representative, but I wanted to come tonight as a homeowner and a taxpayer and somebody who really cares about where my tax dollars are going. And I just want to thank City Council and thank the administration for adding that extra funding for one more police officer for our city. When I was first elected to City Council in 2013, 8 years ago, that was something that I really felt strongly about. I support our police department. I support the people who work for our city and the people who run our city. But I just want to say that to see 5 out of 7 council members all agree and have that consensus to support our police, to provide the funding to hire that new officer, I couldn't have been more pleased. So I just want to thank you for the work that you're doing. Councilman Peter Hersberg. It's no secret, he's my younger cousin. I couldn't have been more proud of you. My family's very proud of you. Our family's very proud. The residents of Westland are very proud, so thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anybody else in the audience? All right, I'm closing citizens' comments. I'll move to comments from the administration. Let me get to that screen. Hold on one second. I'm still trying to get used to this dial pad again. There we are. How's that?
How's that? Just
Great.
two quick things, Council President, thank you. Just wanted to remind the residents of our annual community gathering and outdoor movie night this Wednesday, June 23rd. It'll be held at Tatton and Central City Park, starts at 5 p.m. We'll have free hot dogs, chips, and water. We'll have information on community initiatives, projects, free admission to the H2O zone. There'll be a disc jockey with music and dancing. The arson dog will be there along with the K9 dogs, Rio and Odin, and they'll be on hand for photos. The smokehouse and the police motorcycle division will also be in attendance. And then at 7 p.m. we'll be showing the movie, which is Onward, and then we'll be serving free popcorn to the kids that are present and those that are present for the movie. So again, that starts at 5 with the movie starting at 7. And then the last thing, Council President, is just a reminder that on July 5th, City Hall will be closed in observance of July 4th. However, the trash collection that week will not be affected. So thank you.
Thank you. Anything from the city attorney's office? Nothing this evening. Thank you. We begin council comments tonight with Councilman Hersberg.
Thank you. I've got a long list of stuff I wanted to bring up. I'll do everybody a favor and bring this stuff to the directors tomorrow. There is one concern I wanted to bring up that was brought to me by a resident just before the meeting. And this is relating to Stacy Street between Wildwood and Wayne, kind of by Westland Bowl. I'm sure a couple of you got made aware of it. There's no street lights there. And when the vote came up to do the rehab center, quite a few residents came up and talked about there not being streetlights on that street. And at the time, I think the administration had said we're going to look into that. So I just wanted to give that reminder and see where we're at. You know, it shouldn't take a couple of years to get up 2 streetlights. So just wanted to bring that up. I want to thank Jody she talked about the Save Our Seniors group. I just want to thank her for organizing the events and trying to spread some awareness. We do need change. Since I've been on council, I've had complaints from residents about elder abuse at some of the facilities here in Westland, and you know, the city can't do anything about it. But I did follow along with some of those complaints and how they were handled, and to simply put it, they weren't handled. Even after a death had occurred, there was no investigation with some of these complaints, so I'm definitely going to keep advocating and being a part of that group until we can get something done in Lansing. And then, you know, just the last thing, I don't know if it's a true statement or not, but at citizens' comments, it was mentioned that there was a letter sent to some Norwayne residents regarding a potential lead in the water. So, you know, if anything like that's going out, council should be notified, and I wasn't notified about that, so I hope it's not true. But if it is, I do want to see the letter, and I want to know what's going on. That's it for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Green.
Thank you. I'd like to start tonight by thanking the clerk and his staff for the hard work that they have done to get the thousands of absentee ballots dropped tonight. So many of us will begin voting as of tomorrow via absentee. The primary election is on August 3rd, but if you weren't aware, there was a ballot initiative that took place in the city of Detroit that actually delayed our ballots being printed. So the clerk's office worked really hard to get those ballots out for us, so just wanted to say thank you for that. And also thank you to Jody White, who, as Councilman Hersberg stated, they had a minor rally or notification meeting up here to spread awareness about elder abuse, which is a issue close to my heart, and I'm sure many of us. And I just wanted to say thank you for the fight that you are keeping up all over the state to stand up for our seniors. In reference to the comments that were made tonight about, that were actually made from Arthur Warren and then a gentleman, another resident got up who has also attacked me on social media and stated that I attacked Arthur Warren. Some of the attacks that I've received is relative to endorsements that I've received from certain elected officials that people don't agree with, or they're supporting a different candidate. That's their right. I actually couldn't, I have no interest in making that a priority. However, if you're telling the truth about something, that is not an attack. It's no different from someone stealing somebody's money and a person saying, you stole my money. If you did it, it's the truth. It's not an attack. And so the statements that I made tonight about Arthur Warren's character was to give you all some background on many of the things that he has done in our community. One of the attacks that he made against one of the women, alleged attacks that were made against one of the women who resigned from the Diversity Commission, which I actually asked the mayor not to appoint him because of the history, long-standing history, even prior to me getting elected 4 years ago, of residents habitually complaining about what they have stated was his lack of professionalism, throwing people out of open meetings, who are hearing impaired and recording the meeting on their cell phone, violating the Open Meetings Act. These also were people who the mayor did not support and things of that nature. The lady who most recently resigned is a white woman who alleged that Arthur Warren made a racially motivated and gender motivated attack against her, and she quit the Diversity Commission and was requested, she took another seat on a different commission. And this is what she stated to myself and several other council people. And this has been going on year after year with Westland residents. If you want to Google the article that he wrote, please Google Arthur Warren alleges racism in Westland, and you will see the salacious and defamatory article he wrote against 2 elected officials to try and ruin their chances of election. So this is no exception. I will state for the record that unlike Mr. Warren, I do not plagiarize or print false documentation. As I stated during my previous comment, I had probably 5 meetings with the mayor and his administration to get those dollars invested into Stoudemire Park, again, that had not occurred in roughly 20 years. I had multiple senior citizens who were executives on the Southeast Homeowners Association who appointed me because, per their statement, the city would not send any money down to the Southeast Homeowners Association. And Arthur Warren at that time was not involved. He was not an executive. He was nothing but a member. One of the meetings took place at Stoudemire Park. I was integral. I played an integral role in even selecting what products and materials went to that park. So when he says that I was against it, that's a false statement. I also wanted to state that this person, Arthur Warren, has filed frivolous lawsuits against me over these past 4 years that the courts have thrown out. He has harassed me for the entire, even before I got elected. And this is just what he does to anyone who the mayor does not support or they're threatened by. And you actually should be threatened by me because I'm not for sale. But what you will not do is try and ruin my reputation with false statements. Thank you for coming to the meeting and letting everyone know what my literature looks like, but everything that's on there is actually a true statement. And with that, I thank you all for listening, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Happy voting.
Councilman Gadbout.
Thanks. I really wasn't going to have any comments tonight, but based off of some of the misinformation that came out earlier on the lead copper information that was sent out to the residents, copper is not magnetic. So the information that went out to the residents, we were notified on. As a matter of fact, the mayor put out a press release back in May on the process because the Michigan Safe Drinking Water Act requires that we do an inventory of service line materials throughout the city. So an information packet was put together to ask the residents for their assistance in identifying whether they have copper, plastic, or metal water lines in their house. So we were notified about it going out. There were instructions on how to identify your water service material. There was a magnet to test the service line, and there was a prepaid ID postcard to return with the packet. So we were notified. The information is out there, but again, copper is not magnetic, so the magnet would not stick to the copper, unlike what was stated previously at the meeting. Thank you.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
Good evening. Thank you. I was going to piggyback on that. So the city's already identified 35% of the service lines through inspection. So the remaining 65% of lines, which the majority of our households did receive that letter. And yes, there is a magnet. In fact, I saw it on my mother-in-law's refrigerator because she was a little bit unclear. She's like, I got this magnet. So we had to walk her through it. So yeah, maybe the directions may not have been terribly clear. I didn't review the letter because I have new lines in my home and didn't get one of the letters. But if you do have the letter and the magnet attaches to your service line, you need to contact the city through the way of the prepaid postcard, or you can call the Department of Public Services, which is 734-728-1770, and you can even call them if you need assistance inspecting your own water line. And that repair will be done for you at no cost to you, so that you have safe drinking water to your home. But other than that, I hope you all enjoy your 4th of July weekend. It's kind of a weekend, but have a safe and happy 4th of July, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Councilman McDermott.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'd just like to first start off by thanking the clerks, Clerk LeBlanc and his office, for all the work that they've been doing, getting ready to send out the absentee ballots and then ultimately making sure that ballots hit the mailboxes on time. So thank you to the clerk and his entire staff and team for what they're doing there. Wanted to thank Don Nicholson for a great but rainy cruise this past week. So thank you to Don and the team for putting that on. And then I wanted to thank Jody White, who came here talking about elder abuse. I wasn't able to attend the rally that they had here at City Hall, but thank you to her and the organization that's advocating for the prevention of elder abuse and preventing the elderly in our community from being taken advantage of. One of the things that I often hear, just as a resident myself and as an elected official sitting up here, is, what does my government do for me? What do my elected leaders, the 7 of us up here, the administration, even do for me anyway? Well, I've been on council now for a year and a half myself, and Councilwoman Rakowski elected in 2019. And in that year and a half, I think I can answer that question that we've done a lot for you, and that you may not always agree with every single thing that we do. And there are certainly things that I don't always agree with that we do up here. But we've done quite a bit, and I just wanted to take a few minutes here to highlight some of what your elected officials, your public servants have done for you at least in the year and a half that myself and my colleague have been on the council, and that things that all 7 of us up here have done. In regards to public safety, we've purchased a new ambulance and new safety equipment for our fire department. Working with our police chief here, working with the PD, we have hired both a social worker and a domestic violence advocate to work within the police department. The chief has created a brand new transparency dashboard to look at arrest records, statistics, things like that, to make more transparency and accountability into the department. We've purchased a new electric F-150 Lightning that's going to be used for community policing. We often hear from residents that we want to see more officers on patrol in the neighborhoods and work in the streets, and they know that, and we know that, and this new F-150 Lightning is going to be used specific for community policing. So we've been able to work with the department, work with the chief to purchase a new a new vehicle. In regards to, what your government does for you in terms of transparency and accountability, we brought back the vacant Board of Ethics. I know that there are some people that look at the makeup of that board and they'd like to see some different people on there, but the fact of the matter is we brought back the Ethics Board after a vacancy. We worked on updating multiple outdated ordinances here in the community, things that we hadn't taken a look at in quite some time, one of which we all found kind of ridiculous, that you can't eat fast food while you're sitting in your car at a drive-through. So ordinances like that, ordinances in regards to license and registration for bikes, we took a look at and we made some changes and some changes to. We're working, currently on a number of other initiatives in regards to, transparency and accountability as well. In regards to diversity, equity, and inclusion, as my colleague stated earlier, she brought forward the DEI resolution and the DEI board, and we passed that. And in addition, we're looking at taking the additional step, we approved it in this year's budget, to hire a diversity, equity, and inclusion director who's going to be working within the administration and to make sure that our city's workforce is, more diversified and more reflexive of what the community's makeup is. We know that Westland is becoming an increasingly diverse community, and I think the next census is going to highlight that. And so we're going to work with our DEI director to make sure that we have a city workforce that is reflexive of that. We passed a resolution actually just at the last council meeting honoring June as Pride Month to honor and make recognition of the sacrifices of the LGBTQA community here in Westland. We are rolling out and have been rolling out, and I know Councilman Godbout is working on this, the Walk and Roll program to increase walkability and connectivity here in Westland. We know that we have many residents of, different abilities who having sidewalk connectivity is really important, and the potential of, adding bike lanes will do a lot for those residents. And so the Walk and Roll program is something that we are, in the process of working on right now to have more walkability and potentially add bike lanes in the city. We rolled out, albeit with some bumps along the way and some confusion and things that should not have happened, a vaccination program here in the city of Westland. There was, some initial consternation and I think some things, again, that shouldn't have happened in regards to how a list was created. But ultimately, we were able to get tens of thousands of Westland residents vaccinated, both at the Schoolcraft events and also over at the Madonna Ice Arena. We adopted, during the COVID-19 crisis, the allocation of COVID federal funding into our city to create rental assistance for those residents who were, potentially in danger of losing their home and needed some financial rental assistance. And we also rolled out a grant program for our small businesses to get some relief from the federal COVID funds as well. One of the things that residents really wanted us to do, and we deliberated on as a council and talked about, was bringing back recycling. They wanted curbside recycling back. We know that there was high demand for that, and that was probably the number one issue that many of us were getting called about and hearing out at the doors. And to protect our environment and to listen to the will of the residents, we brought back the curbside recycling program here, and we continued to take glass down at the recycling center in Westland. The other thing that we did as well is we approved the finish of the Marley Woods subdivision. That was something that the residents who lived in and around Marley Woods were, complaining about for a number of years when the financial crisis hit in 2008 and the developer packed up and left town. We were able to approve that and finish that subdivision as well. So I don't proclaim, and I don't think any one of us should ever proclaim to be perfect. And I certainly haven't gotten everything that, I've wanted done yet here on council. I'd like to see the ethics ordinance get updated. I would like to see, a review in that. I would like to see, us take another step in regards to how we're going to spend the ARP money that we're getting, to spend on your behalf. We're going to be, exploring the idea of bringing back a rec center when we do study sessions or visioning sessions over the Marshall Middle School property. So no, I haven't gotten everything that I've campaigned on or everything that I've asked for yet, and it's still a work in progress. I'm working with Councilwoman Rutkowski and Councilman Londo in regards to a responsible contracting ordinance as well. So I don't proclaim to be perfect, and I don't proclaim that everything that I've wanted has gotten done so far, and there's still a lot to fight for. But in terms of answering the question of what has your government done for you, I can safely say that we've done a lot, even if you don't always agree with it. Thank you, and have a safe and happy 4th of July.
Council President Pro Tem Londo.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Just a couple quick things tonight. I want to thank Chief Judge Ruzick and his staff for once again hosting another neighborhood safety program or meeting on Saturday at Stottlemyre Park down in our southeast portion of the community. I was able to attend once again. I've been at both of them so far. I took good notes on the unique issues that those residents had in that area, and I'm confident that those folks will work hard to get those issues resolved. Also, over the weekend, I see Emily Bauman's in the audience. I had a great conversation with her. I want to apologize to her and anyone that was in the audience that didn't feel validated and feel that we listened to what they had to say in regards to the LGBTQ ordinance, or excuse me, resolution that we passed at the last meeting. While I stand behind my belief, I believe that was the correct decision. You and I had this conversation. I'll let you know that I heard you all and I respect your opinion on it. Last two things. Thanks to the team at William D. Ford Technical Center for building a beautiful pavilion at J.C. Park. I was able to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony. It looks great. I want to thank our Council President Hart for his, as he used it, polite persistence at working with the Mayor's office and our County Commissioner Glenn Anderson to get the funds secured. Talking with the neighbors over there, they're very, very happy to see a new pavilion. Just briefly regarding the budget, you know, while I was unhappy how everything transpired at the last meeting, I've spoken with the directors, members of our police department regarding my no vote, and most were very understanding and supportive of the decision I made. My actions over the last several years I've made it very clear where I stand in support of public safety. I'm happy that we have an additional officer. I just didn't like the way that it was brought at the last minute. We're going to have some strategic visioning sessions where I invite the public out. There's a lot of discussion at those meetings. I'd love to have everyone out where we can talk about properly funding these departments, both departments, for the short, mid, and long term. Other than that, everyone have a safe and happy 4th of July. We'll see you back on the 6th.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. We're almost done. So I'd like to thank everybody again for coming out today. Again, as I said last time, it's good to see everybody's bright, smiling faces. Tomorrow, I understand we move to another step closer to normalcy, and I think we're all really excited for that. Let's see here. First, thank Councilman Godbout for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I always appreciate that. Let's see. We'll go in order here. First thing I'll do is the ADA thing. So I believe everybody needs to have equal access to their ability to give their time and speak their 3 minutes. My son struggles with language, and he probably got it from me, and it's something I've kind of grown out of and been able to manage as I've gotten older, and he has a pretty severe case, so I'm receptive to that and I'm understanding to that. Given needing more access to time to be able to speak was important, and I did consult with our attorney and I did consult with our HR to be able to come up with a system that allowed those who have expressive language disorder or something similar to be able to express themselves. And the solution was that if you get held up or you get confused, I'm going to pause. I will pause the timer. And I thought that was fair. I'll pause the timer until you're ready, can put your thoughts back together and start back again. What it did was it gave you more access to use your 3 minutes effectively and be able to compose your thoughts. But it also made sure that no one was getting more time than anybody else at the same time, right? So you still get your access to, you get your 3 minutes of time, but I'm going to give you more time to use it. And I felt pretty comfortable with that. Good guidance I got from a lot of research, as well as a couple medical journals online that gave some input. Of course, I consulted with everyone, and that's what we came with. So I apologize if you're not happy with it. And we'll probably have some more dialogue with Stephanie Field, HR, as well as legal, to see if maybe there's something different that can be done there. So I definitely don't want to be a barrier to access. I'd be hypocritical if I did. So next thing is personal attacks. It's campaign season, and you see a certain behavior begins to start up, right? And once somebody lights a fire by attacking somebody else, it's a race to the bottom. The genie gets out of the bottle, you can't put her back in, and the professionalism and modicum and behavior of the entire council, and as well as the residents that are here, starts to get lower and lower and lower. And I guess it's an appeal to my colleagues, everybody up here in the dais, and just don't bring it in here. It's an appeal, it's a request. I'd like to keep things as professional and as well behaved as possible. If you want to beat the tar out of people, man, there's so many other places you can do it. You can do it in your campaign, and you can do it on Facebook. I know it's a really popular place for that to happen. Just don't do it in here. It's just a race to the bottom, and nothing good comes out of it. Nothing good comes out of it. I'm a big boy, I got big shoulders, but I mean, even though every now and then I get a false accusation and a kind of wild one, it does bother me a little bit, but I get over it. But I think if we all just work together and keep that behavior out, it's a personal choice everybody can make. It might be a little bit better, a little bit more professional, and I think that's what we all want at the end of the day. I want this to be a council meeting and not a council meeting with a sideshow that's going on every single time, because I don't think anybody wants that. It's not fun. With that, the J.C. Pavilion, thank you again. I'd like to thank the school district, William D. Ford Tech Center, Commissioner Glenn Anderson for the return of the $40,000 for that project. That J.C. Pavilion is something I've been wanting for a long time as a life, J.C., and it's my neighborhood park, and I always thought, man, we got these ball diamonds, we got this walking field, and we just got nowhere for people to hang out and gather, so now we do. So that was the work of a lot of people and just me, like I say, politely persistent. I knew eventually I could wait them out. So we got it, and I'm so thankful, and a lot of the neighborhoods residents are thankful too. But if you get a chance, go by it, go see it. I think it's in a really cool spot, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. With that, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today. I'd like to thank the clerk's department for all their tough work. It is not easy, and you never get a break here in Westland. There's always an election going on every year. So thank you for all the hard work. Please be safe. Enjoy your July 4th holiday. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?